Hey everyone, now that everyone's finished talking about the iPhone 17 Pro and the iPhone Air, let's talk about the real star that nobody's talking about, the regular iPhone 17. It's obviously not as flashy as the iPhone Air or the iPhone Pro, but this phone really is the special one this year. It gives you almost all the best iPhone features at the price of a base model iPhone. Okay, so what are you getting here? Well, basically this is an iPhone 16 Pro from last year, but instead of titanium and glass, it is aluminum and glass. It doesn't have a telephoto camera, it has a smaller battery, but it is sold at a base model price of $800 instead of the Pro price of the 17 Pro this year, which is $1,100. And this phone has like 80 to 90% of the features of the iPhone 17 Pro and also more features than the iPhone Air, which is more expensive at $1,000. And that's a whole lot of words to basically say that I think this is the iPhone that most people should buy if they're trying to buy a new iPhone, or really any phone. Starting out with the design, this phone is basically identical to last year's iPhone 16 series, but the display is ever so slightly bigger, the bezels are a little bit thinner, the phone is basically the same size overall, but one note, iPhone 16 cases will not fit properly on this device. You also get a whole bunch of new colors, and personally I have the lavender model, which I think looks pretty good, but honestly I'm kind of leaning more towards the green, which I think is absolutely beautiful. You also get all the essentials here. You get the camera control button, the action button, USB-C, the frosted glass ceramic shield back that hides fingerprints, smudges, and even scratches. And from my past experience using iPhones with this frosted glass back, it ages very well and it is actually quite durable. Now, some smaller details, the buttons are also really nice and tactile. It has dual speakers, unlike the iPhone Air, and they actually sound pretty solid. Now, is this design as exciting as the ultra-thin iPhone Air or the super bold, crazy iPhone 17 Pro? No, it's just not as exciting. It's the same pretty much as last year. But it is still a good-looking phone, it's clean, it's simple, and for some people they might prefer this design over the iPhone 17 Pro. It also feels great to hold, it's lightweight, there's some really good color options. It's a really nice overall design. No complaints here. And at least here in Canada, the US, and some other regions, it's also eSIM only with no SIM tray, but honestly, setting up an eSIM and transferring your old SIM is very easy. Now, moving up front, the display here is also a massive upgrade from last year. It's finally 120 Hz. And this is the first time a base model iPhone has had a high refresh display, and scrolling, watching content, gaming, and just using the iPhone feels way smoother, and it's just obviously much better. And an always-on display. Having an always-on display is an excellent feature. It's not life-changing, but it is a great thing to have, especially if you haven't had it on a previous iPhone. And also, if you're upgrading from an older iPhone Pro device with an always-on display, at least you're going to have it here if you switch to this device. And the always-on display, which uses very little battery life, also shows you useful things like notifications, the time, widgets, battery life. Pretty convenient. And yes, I know, tons of cheaper Android phones for years now have had always-on displays and high refresh rate displays, so seeing it actually on the base model iPhone finally shouldn't be that exciting, but it is. It's great to see it here. But it's not just 120 Hz. One of the biggest noticeable changes for me is the improved brightness on this display, up to 3000 nits of peak brightness, so outdoor visibility is excellent. And of course, it's OLED, so there's these deep contrasty blacks, vibrant colors, really sharp, beautiful details, and for me it's been refreshing to actually use a phone of this size compared to the giant Pro Max models which I have been using for the past few years, so the smaller iPhone, kind of tempting. So overall, the design, the display, they're not groundbreaking, but they're really solid in this phone. The display is fantastic, the design is still clean and simple with a nice fresh coat of paint, some new colors, and I really don't mind it. But the display in particular, I'm definitely a big fan of. 120 Hz, high brightness, OLED, it's fantastic. Now let's talk cameras. This is one of the areas that this phone excels over the iPhone Air and actually gets really close to the iPhone 17 Pro. You have two 48 megapixel cameras on the back, a regular main camera and an ultra-wide camera which does have autofocus. And these aren't the exact same sensors as the iPhone 17 Pro, they are slightly smaller so low light performance won't be as good as the Pro series, but still, these are massive sensors, they're still pretty solid for low light photography, giving you a great depth of field as well, and just produce overall excellent shots. And if you turn on resolution control in the settings, it's very easy to switch from 24 megapixels to 48 megapixels to take those super high resolution shots. The front camera also has a massive upgrade. It's 18 megapixels and has that new ultra wide selfie mode you've probably been hearing about, and you can hold the phone vertically and take wide photos and even horizontal photos and videos as well while holding the phone vertically. It just makes it much more convenient to get those selfie shots. And this is what 4K video looks like and sounds like on the front-facing camera. And funny enough, I'm actually holding the phone vertically right now and recording a horizontal video, which is a pretty cool feature. There's also, of course, this dual capture mode, which is actually a pretty handy feature. As you can see me, and I can still move myself around over here. And then you can also see what's in front of me. In this case, I'm in a Waymo, and some pretty cool stuff. Now, back to the rear cameras, and I love that this phone still has an ultra-wide camera, unlike the iPhone Air, and personally I use ultra-wide a lot to capture full scenes without having to back up. And of course there is no telephoto camera here, but you do get the 2x digital zoom mode, which honestly covers most shots I do want to take, so I'm happy that that's here. But I still do kind of miss that dedicated zoom camera from the Pro series. But photo quality though is fantastic. Colors are natural and vibrant, sharpness and contrast are excellent, and low light shots are solid, even without night mode. Video recording is also killer here. It's 4K up to 60 frames per second with beautiful quality, smooth stabilization, natural colors, great dynamic range, and excellent autofocus. There is no 4K 120 frames per second like the Pro series, but honestly, it's not that big of a loss. You can still slow down 60 frames per second in post to get some nice, smooth slow motion. iPhone video quality is honestly unbeatable, and if you want to see even more demonstrations of the video quality from this device, check out my iPhone Air Day in the Life, which was shot on another iPhone Air, and the iPhone Air has the same main camera as this phone, so you can see kind of what it looks like, and it's pretty good. Okay, the Waymos are fine, but these, not really a fan of these guys. Anastasia. So that's the camera experience, and I gotta say, I don't really have any complaints here or really things that I was missing. Obviously, there are some things missing from the Pro series, which I'm used to, but overall, this is a fantastic camera setup. Now, moving on to performance and software here, it's pretty fantastic as well. It's right in line with the more expensive iPhones, of course, and if you're coming from a 16 or 16 Pro, you're not going to notice a huge jump in performance, but if you're upgrading from something like an iPhone 12 or 13, it's going to feel like night and day. Day-to-day tasks like social media, playing games, and multitasking absolutely fly on this device, and even heavier tasks like rendering or playing intensive games also perform well. iOS 26, though, as much as I'm a fan, is still a little bit buggy. On this phone and the other two new iPhone models I've been testing, iOS 26 definitely has its bugs and just annoying little things that Apple definitely needs to fix. There's some weird quirks with the widgets, issues with the transparency mode for icons on the home screen, things like the camera freezing up, and just other really annoying little bugs and glitches here and there. There's nothing that's really a deal breaker, but just little annoyances that kind of pile up over time, and I'm sure Apple will fix them at some point soon in the future updates. There is iOS 26.1, which is coming out pretty soon, so maybe things will be much more smooth with that release. But of course, the whole new liquid glass thing is pretty damn cool. I mean, it makes the phone feel fresh, more alive, and personally, I like it. Some of my other favorite iOS 26 features that I've been using almost every single day are the new Apple Photos cleanup tool, which isn't new, but it's much more improved from the previous update. Visual intelligence with screenshots is super handy because you can just pull information from screenshots or highlight things and search them up. Very useful. Auto mix in Apple Music blends tracks together kind of like a DJ set, and it's one of the best things Apple has done in years. It's great for road trips, great for just listening to music at home or on the go, and it's a fantastic feature. I love auto mix. And there's also call screening and the automatic hold detection, which are both genuinely very useful. I don't get any more spam calls. Overall, iOS 26 is lots of fun, and not just like a visual refresh, it's also full of useful things like the features I mentioned, which I use every single day, and just make the iPhone experience for core things much better. But yes, there are a lot of bugs that still need to be fixed. Now, let's talk battery life, the other thing that makes this phone better than the iPhone Air. This phone has a 3692 mAh battery compared to a 3149 mAh battery on the Air, and the Pro model iPhone has a 4252 mAh battery, which is much bigger than both of these iPhones. Now when I tested out the iPhone Air and also used it for a day in the life video, my battery died pretty quickly into the evening. I could barely make it to about 5 or 6 p.m. on most days before I had to stop and charge the phone if I woke up in the morning at around 6 or 7 a.m. It was not a phone I could use on longer days without bringing a battery pack or stopping to charge it up. But with this phone so far, even having a slightly bigger battery life is actually much better. I can get to about 8 o'clock in the evening. If I wake up at around 6 or 7 a.m., I can get through a full day almost with this phone, but usually I have to bring along a MagSafe charger or plug it in quickly if I'm going out later on in the evening. Now I am a heavier user and I definitely plow through battery life on this device, and that's why I'm usually a Pro Max iPhone user, but battery life is still pretty decent on this phone. I think for most people, most average users, they can get through a full day of usage with this device, which I can't say the same about with the iPhone Air. And of course, this phone does have wireless charging, MagSafe support, and also fast wired charging as well, which is great to have. Okay, so final thoughts here. Coming from years of Pro model iPhones and switching to this, I honestly didn't really miss that much. Now sure, I did miss the telephoto camera a bit, but the digital zoom worked fine most of the time for me. Battery life is not so pro level, but better than the Air at least, and still pretty good. The cameras are excellent, the design and display fantastic, performance excellent. I've really had a great time using this phone. So if you ask me, out of all 3 new iPhone models, which one should you buy? I'm gonna say, get the iPhone 17. I have nothing else to say. It's a fantastic phone, great price. You have all the major features, especially if you're coming from an older iPhone, you're getting a bunch of new things. You're gonna love this phone. Just, that's it. I got nothing else. Get the iPhone 17. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like down below. Comment your thoughts on the iPhone 17 versus the other new iPhone models. Do you prefer it? Which iPhone did you choose? Or are you waiting till next year or just not buying an iPhone at all? Let me know. If you're interested in this shirt, www.canoopsy.media, as well as a few other shirts available on the website as well. And yeah, check it out. Be sure to subscribe as well if you like this video. And of course, thank you for watching.